Hey guys, it's Lor today. Today I want to talk about the recent kind of discussion that's been around lately about Halo's music. I've heard a lot of discussion about why didn't Kazuma and Neil Davidge stick with Marty O'Donnell's, tried and true Halo style of music for Halo 4 and 5. And there's a lot of points that I think would really help, that I believe in, that I think would convince you guys that what they did and how they changed Halo's music is a good thing based on how Halo 4 and 5 have changed from the traditional Halo style as a whole. So I want to talk about one of the games that actually Bungie made that I think is a good example of, I'm going to reference it later as I talk about Halo 4 and 5. Halo 3 ODST. This game was right after Halo 3, but it was set up vastly differently than Halo 2, Halo 3, the original Halo games were. Halo 3 ODST was focused on a nighttime city exploration mechanic with, a more dark theme, being trapped and alone in a dark city of Covenant, lost from your squad, barely surviving, trying to cling to life as you move around in this war-torn, depressing, dreary area. And what Marty O'Donnell did to better fit the theme was he changed Halo 3 ODST soundtrack to be more jazz-themed. No longer were we hearing, the traditional Orthodox church kind of chanting and holy singing that was expected from a Halo soundtrack. We were hearing saxophones, we were hearing really soft and kind of emotion bringing piano notes. That's the best word I can think of off the top of my head. Notes and melodies that were supposed to incite this feeling inside of us of being alone, being sad, being, in a depressing situation. And what this does is it enforces the game's narrative and the game's atmosphere by truly making us feel alone. And so because of this, Halo 3 ODST is a more unified experience in the sense that everything in the game is centered around one theme, which is that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of isolation. The soundtrack, the gameplay, the visuals, the narrative, everything is kind of centered around Rookie being stranded in the Mombasa streets. And so Marty's choice to change Halo 3 ODST's music style to be more of a dreary jazz kind of themed experience is justified by the fact that everything else in that game was centered around that theme as well. So if you were to have Halo 3's, or any original Halo game trilogies, tracks in there, it would sound out of place, because the original 1 through 3 Halos were all about Master Chief, being a badass in this expansive universe, and the original Halo games music was basically designed to make you feel good. The original Halo theme with all its chanting, and the violins, and all that kind of stuff, and even the combat music would make you feel like a badass. All of the original Halo games were meant to make the player feel good, encourage the player, keep going, kick ass, have fun, save the world. But then you come to Halo 4, which is a game that, unlike the original Halo trilogy, was much more character focused. Halo 4 wanted us to feel connected with Master Chief and Cortana. Halo 4 wanted us to feel connected with the situation on Requiem. It wanted us to feel connected to, the theme of Master Chief and Cortana. The man and the machine, but which one's the man, which one's the machine, that kind of thing. And so Halo 4's choice of narrative to kind of go more character-oriented basically meant that 343 needed to also change the music to reflect that theme. And much like I just pointed out with Marty and ODST, the soundtrack style needed to be changed. It just needed to be changed to better fit the narrative, better fit the atmosphere, etc. And so, no longer is Halo about the player feeling good and the player feeling, impressed, the player feeling like the hero. And now, Halo 4's kind of theme is to kind of make us feel worry, feel emotions for Cortana and Chief. It's supposed to involve us with the here and now. This is going on. This is the crisis that's happening. We need to stop it. Whereas Halo 1 through 3 was, yeah, I'm the Master Chief. Let's go save the galaxy. And so, by making Halo 4 more of a emotionally driven, character-driven, urgent kind of story versus the Halo 1 through 3, which arguably still has urgency due to the Covenant's kind of mission, but you never really feel it. Like, you don't, I don't know. Like, with Halo 4, one of the very first things you're told is that Cortana will die if you don't get her back to Halsey. So that kind of, that already sets this tone of you need to hurry. Things are happening now, this is going to happen now, and if you don't hurry and get her back home, then she's going to die. And so it inspires this feeling of, like, worry and urgency that adds depth to the theme, because it gives it more of a, I guess, you can look at the game from different angles. There are multiple themes that you can kind of glean from Halo 4. Halo 4 is more open-ended. It's a dynamic kind of story where things change, characters change, there's development. And so Halo 4's choice to be more in-depth versus Halo 1 through 3's kind of chill, relax, have fun, kick-ass style, you need to change the music to sort of fit that depth and fit that urgent feeling and fit that character development. And so what you see Halo 4 do is you hear more tracks that are very sharp, lots of emotionally gripping, emotion inciting music that makes us feel things, similar to how ODST makes us feel alone. Halo 4 makes us feel kind of scared for Cortana. It makes us feel connected to the story. It makes us feel kind of connected to their relationship. And it makes us feel emotions for her. It makes us feel sad for her. It makes us feel sad for Chief. It makes us worried for Chief. It's depressing. And so to fit that kind of theme, there's a lot of music in Halo 4 that's very dark, because Halo 4 itself is dark. Now I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm going to take Halo 4's second level, Requiem, the opening, the start where you're in the crashed ship and you walk through that cave to the giant pillar area. And I just want to show you how much better Halo 4's version of this, or Halo 4, the music used in Halo 4 fits, in my opinion, better than something that would be similar from the original Halo trilogy. So here, watch this. Now, obviously, this particular spot in the campaign is not the beginning of that section where you're walking through the debris and the dead bodies and stuff. That part is supposed to feel dark. It's supposed to be horrific. You're supposed to be shocked at how utterly just destroyed the ships are, and see the elites and grunts crawling, clinging to life. It's like this dark feeling. You feel depressed walking through this rubble, and then immediately after this, first of all, that first section is supposed to inspire that sad feeling in us. It's supposed to kind of get us down. It's supposed to depress us a little bit, and so after walking through that section and feeling kind of horrified at what you just saw, and feeling sad and depressed at what you just had to see, you walk through this cave, and you walk out of that cave, and you see this pillar, and this beautiful, sharp, violinic music starts playing, and it's like it inspires, and then it, like, all of that dark feeling from those crashed ships just melts away, and you just feel this sense of discovery and like amazement at like this thing in front of you. And what's the problem essentially with how it would have fit with Halo 1 through 3 music is that in this sense it doesn't have the same emotional impact, because the way the music is designed, it isn't as I hate to use the word sharp again because I feel like I'm not explaining it well, but like it doesn't have that same oomph. Like it's not, the emotional impact of the music is not as strong as it would be to use the Halo 4 tracks. It's hard to explain. I feel like Halo 4's tracks have more of an emotional depth to them, whereas Halo 1 through 3's music kind of like, it covers more ground as far as like the type of music it is, and like the cool different sounds and melodies it makes, and all these different inspired chants and stuff, but it doesn't have that emotional impact. It doesn't have that deep feeling that Halo 4's music has. And so because Halo 4 itself has a deep story and a deep narrative and a deep message, and it needs that deep music to kind of like enforce the feeling of the game. And so that's why I think Halo 4, the music used in Halo 4, and I'm not saying that the music from Halo 1 through 3 is objectively not as good, and I'm not saying Halo 4's music is objectively better. I'm saying that Halo 4's music to me fits better in its theme than Halo 1 through 3's music would have. And so you come to Halo 5 now, and I think Halo 5 ultimately has the same thing, but the fact that the game's writing was so kind of convoluted, and just the overall organization of the campaign itself was kind of sloppier, I don't think Halo 5 was able to achieve that like perfect balance that Halo 4 did. Because like you go to Helios, you go to Genesis, and there's music there that is supposed to kind of like Halo 4's Requiem music. It connects you with the world. Like if you go to Helios, there is the kind of Middle Eastern inspired theme that will always play on Helios, and it makes the Helios world feel more alive. It connects you with it. You go to Genesis, and you have the kind of similar to Requiem electronic themes playing that make you feel like you're on this beautiful alien, tech world, and, etc. And so Halo 5's music does a good job connecting you with its worlds, but there's a lot of areas in Halo 5 that there's music that's supposed to try and help you connect with the characters, but the problem with Halo 5 is that there are so many characters in the game that 343 tried to push on us. Tanaka, Vale, Buck, Locke, Kelly, Linda, Lasky, Palmer, all these characters in this game. The Warden Eternal, Cortana. And there's so much in this game, so many characters, that it's hard to feel connected to any of them because there's so many, and like the focus just keeps jumping back and forth between them all, is that no one character really gets the attention they need to develop properly. And so what happens is the music kind of tells us we should feel bad. You know, we should feel emotions. We should feel things for these characters. But our minds say, I don't give a crap because the characters aren't developed. I don't know them well enough. There isn't enough character development in this game to really make me care. And so this music kind of falls flat in Halo 5, not because it's bad music and not because Kazuma did a bad job, but because it's not supported by its narrative. And this all goes back to what I said in the beginning of the video, where I feel like the games need to have that unification, where the game's narrative, the story, the visuals and the audio all need to like fit. They need to fit that single theme to get that perfect balance. And and with Halo 4, I think 343 nailed it perfectly. But I think Halo 5, because of, I don't know, Microsoft's involvement or 343's making a mistake, whatever it isn't important. It's the fact that I think that's what really hurt Halo 5 and its soundtrack in the long run. The soundtrack is actually not the reason why I think the soundtrack itself gets much criticism, actually. Like, I don't think anyone really disputes that the Halo 5 music is really good. I mean, some people don't like it, that's fine. But from what I've seen, the general opinion of Halo 5's music is that it's excellent. So, you go to, Halo 5, you play through it, the music is fantastic, but it was used in a way that it didn't have the support from its character development and its narrative to really make it feel like it fits. So, only really half of Halo 5's music truly fits well, because the narrative kind of tells us that we aren't supposed to care that much because of all the characters, but the music tells us we should care. So there's that conflict there. So this is basically me trying to say that I think that Halo 4 and 5, while 5's narrative didn't help it, I think their soundtracks are overall more fitting for the universe that 343 has kind of adapted versus Bungie's. And excuse me, Bungie's music fits Bungie's universe better. It's the same thing. Like, if you were to put 343's Halo music in Bungie's Halo style, it wouldn't fit, and vice versa, because they're two different styles. I think you just have to accept that Halo is not the same way it was 10 years ago. It just isn't. And so that's why I think that Neil Davidge and Kazuma Janucci, their style of Halo music fits 343's universe better than Marty O'Donnell's style would have. And I think that's why I think it's important to realize that it fits more along with everything else in the new Halo games. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. Give me some feedback on this video, because I don't really make these kind of videos that much. I just wanted to try and convince you guys of my point. If you guys liked the video, make sure you like it. Subscribe. Shout out to Tyler for editing this together for me. And make sure you subscribe to the Halo Collective for news, media, entertainment, and discussion on anything and everything Halo.